This is Konerak Sinthasomphone, and he was Jeffrey Dahmer's 13th victim. Sinthasomphone was only 14 years old at the time of his death. In 1979, he and his family fled from Laos to the United States in search of a better life. They immigrated to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, hoping to find opportunities and to build a future for themselves. Sinthasomphone's family faced financial challenges, and he and his brother worked hard to help support their family. Sinthasomphone's death was a devastating tragedy that brought widespread attention to the failures of the criminal justice system. In September 1988, the family first encountered Dahmer when he approached Somsack, Sinthasomphone's older brother. Dahmer offered his brother, who was only 13 years old at the time, some money in exchange for nude pictures. Dahmer brought him into his apartment, where he was drugged and assaulted. Fortunately, his brother was able to escape, which led to Dahmer's arrest on September 27, 1988. Dahmer later pled guilty to second-degree sexual assault charges in January 1989. Despite Dahmer's crime, he was initially given a lenient sentence of only 8 years in prison. This was later reduced further by Judge William Gardner after Dahmer wrote a letter expressing remorse for his actions. As a result, Dahmer was released early from prison after serving only 1 year and placed on probation for 5 years. On May 27, 1991, Sinthasomphone met Dahmer at the Grand Avenue Mall, where he was offered money for some nude photos. According to the Netflix documentary, Dahmer was unaware that the two boys were related. Once Sinthasomphone was back at the apartment, he was drugged and assaulted. Dahmer also drilled a hole into his skull, which he used to pour hydrochloric acid into. He took photographs of the boy throughout this entire process. Despite this, Sinthasomphone managed to regain consciousness while Dahmer left the apartment for more alcohol.
He was on the couch, lying down with the drilling technique had already been applied, and I thought he was asleep.
With his victim asleep, Dahmer went for a drink at a local bar.
Did you arrive at a conclusion as to whether or not you had taken his life as a consequence of the drilling technique?
No, it hadn't.
How do you know that?
Because he was walking down State Street.
After escaping from Dahmer's apartment, Sinthasomphone was seen by neighbors Glenda Cleveland, along with her daughter Sandra Smith and niece Nicole Childress. They called 911 to report a bleeding naked boy wandering the street.
A naked young boy or man or whatever, his butt naked, he's been beaten up real bad, and he's fell out, and people are trying to help him stand. He can't stand. He's blood naked. He has no clothes on. He is very hurt.
Is he awake?
Yeah, he ain't awake. They trying to get him to walk, but he can't walk straight. He can't even see straight.
Okay.
And every time he stand up, he just fall out.
25th State.
Yeah.
All right.
In one way.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Police officers, John Balcerzak and Joseph Gabrish, responded to the scene. Dahmer arrived at the scene shortly after. Dahmer somehow convinced the officers that Sinthasomphone was his drunk 19-year-old lover and they had just had a spat. As a result, the officers escorted Dahmer and Sinthasomphone back to his apartment despite the strong objections of the neighbors. After the officers left Sinthasomphone with Dahmer at his apartment, Cleveland became increasingly concerned about the boy's well-being and placed a call to the police to inquire about his safety. Despite her concerns, the police brushed her off yet again.
Was me.
Yeah, what happened, I mean, my daughter and my niece witnessed what was going on. Was anything done about the situation? Do you need their names or information or anything from them?
No, not at all.
You don't?
No. This is an intoxicated boyfriend of another boyfriend.
Well, how old was this child?
It wasn't a child, it was an adult.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Are you positive? Because because this child doesn't even speak English. My daughter had, dealt with him before, seen him on the street, catching earthworms.
Yeah, no, it's all taken care of, ma'am.
Are you sure?
Ma'am, I can't make it any more clear. It's all taken care of. That's, he's with his boyfriend and his boyfriend's apartment where he's got his belongings also.
But
that's where it's released.
Isn't this, what if he's a child and not an adult? Are you positive this is an adult?
Ma'am, like I explained to you, it's all taken care of. It's as positive as I can be.
Oh, I see.
Okay, I can't do anything about somebody's sexual preferences in life.
Well, I'm not saying anything about that, but it appeared to have been a child. This is my concern. No,
he's not.
He's not a child.
No, he's not. Okay?
Not only that, the officers were heard laughing about what had just occurred and joking about being deloused back at the station, according to the Washington Post.
The police then called into the dispatcher.
The intoxicated Asian naked male was returned to his sober boyfriend, and we're probably a minute. My partner's going to get deloused at the station.
The Sinthasomphone family later filed a lawsuit against the city of Milwaukee and the responding officers. The court document stated, despite the forceful objections of people who were present at the scene, the officers believed Dahmer that Sinthasomphone was a consenting adult partner, and ultimately left Sinthasomphone in Dahmer's custody. As a result of the officers' failure to properly perform their duties, Sinthasomphone became Dahmer's 13th victim approximately 30 minutes after they left. This is not the end of the failures of the criminal justice system. The news of Sinthasomphone's death caused a significant reaction within the community, including protests and an investigation into the actions of the officers. As a result of this investigation, Officers Balcerzak and Gabrish were fired in December 1992. Despite these findings, a few years later, Reserve Judge Robert Parins ruled that Balcerzak and Gabrish's firing was too severe and reinstated them to the force with $55,000 each in back pay. Please like and subscribe to our channel as we will continue to go through each of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims in the upcoming videos.